Imagine pouring billions into a dream project only for it to crumble in one of Africa's biggest cities, Lagos. But then, that same dream thrives and is embraced in completely different regions, Nigeria's southeast and south-south. What secrets do these contrasting environments hold, and why did one city reject what another championed? You know, there are comeback stories, and then there are Igbo comeback stories. That special breed where somebody gets knocked flat, loses everything, gets humiliated publicly, and still comes back bigger, louder, sharper, and richer than before. If you've ever watched an Igbo man rebuild from scratch, you know what I'm talking about. Today's story is exactly that. This is the unbelievable journey of Paul Onwuanibe, the visionary CEO of Landmark Africa, who watched an $80 million world-class resort in Lagos get bulldozed to rubble, only for him to rise again, not in anger, but with strategy, grace, and an absolutely unstoppable entrepreneurial spirit. And trust me, the way this man turned pain into power should be studied in business schools. So sit tight, because this is the kind of story that gets your blood hot, your ambition fired up, and your respect for determination turned up to 100. Let's begin. Before the billions, before Landmark Beach, before the demolitions, the media noise, the battles, the politics, there was simply Paul Onwuanibe, an Igbo boy with a big dream and the kind of curiosity that does not sleep. He wasn't born into wealth. In fact, he was raised with the kind of humble beginnings that forced you to think big, the kind of upbringing where you learn early that nobody is coming to save you, so you'd better figure out how to save yourself. Paul was brilliant, driven, and extremely intentional from day one. He studied architecture, construction, real estate, anything that would help him understand how to build things that last. Not just houses, but ecosystems. Not just buildings, but destinations. And over the years, he built Landmark Africa into one of the largest private business districts in Nigeria. This was not a company, it was a vision, it was a statement. Africa deserves luxury too. Africans deserve world-class entertainment and tourism. And for a long time, Lagos was the center of that dream. If you lived in Lagos anytime in the past decade, you probably know the Landmark Strip. It was the heartbeat of modern Lagos tourism, where you could relax on the beach, hold business meetings in glass towers, hang out at restaurants, attend concerts, go jet skiing, take your kids to play, connect with people, or just breathe. It didn't feel like Nigeria in the best possible way. Paul Onwuanibe spent over 20 years building that ecosystem, brick by brick, dollar by dollar, idea by idea. Landmark Beach became an icon, an oasis, a place where Lagosians found escape. And then, one day, everything changed. When the announcement came that the federal government wanted to build the Lagos Coastal Road, a huge highway meant to run along the shoreline, people were excited until the bulldozers showed up. In April 2024, in the most dramatic turn of events, the Landmark Beach Resort, that masterpiece that took over 2 decades to build, was marked for demolition. At first, Paul thought it was a misunderstanding, After all, Landmark had been assured the road wouldn't cut through the main facility, but suddenly the routes were redrawn. The beach was now in the way. His team negotiated, they pleaded, they argued that the resorts contributed over 10 billion naira in taxes just the year before. They showed evidence of approvals. They explained that no compensation had been offered, but the machines were coming anyway. And then the unimaginable happened. The beach, the restaurants, the attractions, the entire tourist ecosystem flattened. Gone. 20 years of sweat, $80 million in investment, thousands of jobs, millions of memories, all reduced to silence. Lagosians cried online. Videos went viral. People begged the government to reconsider. And for Paul, it was done.
What happened a few months ago was tragic. Look, we lost $30 million, we lost $10 million income a year, we lost 4,000 jobs, we lost 120 businesses. We lost a lot of things, right? But it's okay, right? Because it was this same city, this same set of people, this same environment that gave me the ability to build that thing in the first place. So people can take away what you have, but nobody can take away who you are, right? And it's so important to think about life that way. Many people may have read our story and realized that, you know, this is actually, it was tragic, it was quite bad. And, you know, I think there was more pain for a lot of the people whose lives it was changing on a daily basis, right? I just had to mentally adjust. I went through all those 5 stages of grief, right? Did everything I had to do, you know, I was in denial, I was angry, I started bargaining, I was sad, but at some point, you accept it, you move on, and you say, you can't cry and laugh at the same time, right? So when something tragic and something bad happens to you, feel sorry for yourself, mourn it, but don't leave for too long, right? Start rebuilding. So we're going to build even bigger and better.
Most people would have broken down. Most companies would have collapsed. Many CEOs would have given up, packed their bags, moved abroad, and left Nigeria behind. But that is not how an Igbo billionaire thinks, because in Igbo land, there is a saying, an Igbo man does not stay down. After the Lagos demolition, Paul went quiet for a while, but that silence, it wasn't defeat, it was strategy. And then suddenly, boom, he emerged with a new direction. We are expanding, we are diversifying, we are moving into new regions, and we are not just rebuilding, we are scaling bigger. His first major move, Enugu State.
What we did in Lagos will be child's play compared to what we intend to do in Enugu. Decisions that we made was to ensure that we had some kind of geographic diversification, and we found a way to not just improve what we've done in the past, but build it bigger, better, more efficiently, faster, and take it to a place that's close to our hearts. So we're very happy to come into the southeast. We're extremely happy to be in Enugu. They're not just commercial reasons for coming to Enugu, they're also emotional reasons. I married my wife from Enugu, and she lived in Enugu. I went to university in Enugu. I have a lot of friends in Enugu, and it's just an incredibly pleasant city and state, and really deserves a proper tourism and entertainment and hospitality platform. So we feel that we have a lot to offer, and I really, really do look forward to it.
It is no doubt, sir, that you do have a lot to offer. I mean, the expectations, I must say, are quite high. 150 hectares, we have 10 billion naira for the first phase, and 35 years. What are your plans for Nike Lake Resort?
So one of the things that we believe very much in is what we call footfall, and footfall is all about people. We think tourism, hospitality, and leisure is about people. It's about bringing people into a destination, making sure they have enough things to do, giving them amazing experiences, keeping them there as long as possible, and making sure when they leave, they tell other people about it. So our plans for Nike Resort are exactly that: is to figure out the things that we're going to do to bring people to it, make sure they stay, give them amazing experiences. So obviously we have to upgrade and renovate the hotel and all the villas around there, and we're going to provide more facilities for entertainment for children, experiences along the waterside, beach clubs, food and beverage outlets, a lot of things for children and families, and a lot of sort of adventure stuff. So what we did in Lagos will be child's play compared to what we intend to do in Enugu.
The Coal City, the Lion's Den, a place full of culture, potential, and a rising wave of good governance and business reforms. Paul saw what many were beginning to realize. The Southeast was becoming a new hotspot for investment. Young people were returning home. Infrastructure was improving. Tourism was growing. States were competing to attract businesses. In Enugu, Paul found what Lagos took away: space, respect, partnership, vision. He began investing heavily, quietly but boldly. Landmark started exploring real estate, hospitality, leisure, and tourism opportunities in the region. And the people loved it, because this wasn't just business, it was homecoming. The return of a son who had been wounded elsewhere, but who chose to rebuild among his own. And just when everyone thought the Enugu move was big, Paul dropped an even bigger bombshell. In early 2025, Landmark Group announced something massive. Paul Onwuanibe had officially partnered with the Rivers State government to redevelop the historic Port Harcourt tourist beach into a world-class leisure, hospitality and tourism hub. The same kind of beachfront magic he brought to Lagos, he was now bringing it to Port Harcourt, and not just by renting space, but by acquiring prime waterfront land in partnership with the state. This was not just a business move, it was a statement. You may demolish my building, but you cannot demolish my vision. Paul said he wanted to create a premium tourist destination, a hospitality ecosystem, a leisure resort that competes globally, a legacy project that celebrates River State culture, a tourism magnet that will redefine the South-South economy. And the River State government embraced him with open arms. The Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, Dr. Israel Ngwelo, even said this project would push River State into the global tourism map. Construction begins in the first quarter of 2025, and the project is expected to create thousands of jobs, boost SMEs, strengthen tourism, raise state revenue, build a sustainable economic ecosystem. Landmark Port Harcourt will be the first of several new landmark destinations across West Africa. Yes, Paul is now thinking continental, from Lagos rubble to a West African empire. That's how you rebuild. Here is the part that makes Paul's story so inspiring. He didn't rant, he did not insult, he did not fight in the mud, even after losing $80 million, even after getting zero compensation, even after his project was withdrawn into the coastal road route. Instead, he simply said, "We will rebuild, we will grow, we will expand." That level of calm power, not common. He took the pain, turned it into strategy, pivoted, and came back stronger.
Certainly the most visited leisure destination in West Africa. Well, what were my feelings? First of all, denial. Then I think there are the 5 feelings of grief. Yes. Then there's anger. And then after anger, there was the bargaining. I'm sure you saw some of the interviews and the conversations. And after the bargaining, there was sadness. And at the end of the sadness, you accept it. And you say to yourself, what am I going to do? Is this failure? And I remind you, remember what Michael Jordan said? Michael Jordan said, I have missed 9,000 shots. I have lost 300 games. 26 times I've had the match-winning opportunity with a shot and failed. I have failed, and failed again, and that's why I succeed. So I said to myself, it is what it is. They can take away what you have, but they can never take away who you are. I'm convinced someone's changing my slides. But anyway, during the aftermath of that, there was an outpour of empathy and sympathy, and we said to ourselves, we're going to change all this to some equity, right? Sympathy is great, empathy is great. I had calls from 4 different African presidents, from different state governors, from friends and family, from world leaders, from institutions. It was amazing. And I thought to myself, if I had to pay for this publicity, it would have cost a lot more than we've actually received in investment. So how are we going to, what do they say? Make yes, how are we going to make lemonade out of a lemon? So, I think I'm going the wrong way, aren't I? Sorry, I'll figure this out one day. Anyway, I know it's my last slide. So my last slide is about, so what next? Is that? Yes. So my last slide is what next? Yes, so we're faced with this conundrum. You either lie down and go to sleep, or you stand up, you tell the story, or you get things done. And you know what they say? You need, even though the world is full of ordinary people, you need to find those few extraordinary people to make it a successful organization. So we've decided that not only are we going to continue in business, we're going to stay here and we're going to do it again. And we're going to grow it bigger, better, and stronger. I can't stand on platforms like this and talk about resilience and preach the other way. So I'm going to leave you with 2 things. There are 2 things, because I know there are a lot of young people here, and there are 2 things in my journey that I have always thought were great things. One is balance, yes, and the other is the world is fair, right? Well, I'm going to debunk those 2 things. Oh, wow. So the first one is, I call it the balance fallacy. So you grow up and people say, get some balance, 8 hours to sleep, 8 hours to socialize, and 8 hours to work. Well, you know what they say? If you want to buy things without looking at the price tag, then you've got to work without looking at the clock. So in terms of balance, I put it to you, aspire for greatness, but recognize the sacrifice. Yeah. I put it to you that if you prioritize balance over sacrifice, you're unlikely to be in the top 1%. You must sacrifice. The second fallacy, we call it the fairness. I call it the just world fallacy. In the world, they say, good is rewarded and evil is punished. Sorry, it's not true. Good is never rewarded. Well, good is hardly rewarded, right? And evil is not always punished. So you roll the punches. You can't change the cards you're dealt. You can only change the hand you play. So the last thing I'll say is 3 things. As I grew up, I said 3 things to myself every single month, and I still do it to today. Find someone to look up to. Find something to change.
can find somewhere to go. Thank you very much.
This is the mindset of a billion-dollar entrepreneur because, let's be honest, the demolition did not destroy him. It refined him. It pushed him to diversify, to grow beyond Lagos, to embrace the Southeast and South-South, to dream bigger than before, to build wealth in multiple states and countries. He's indeed expanding. Landmark is no longer Lagos dependent. It is becoming a pan-African tourist empire. And all of this happened because of a setback. See how life works? Paul's story reminds me of a core truth about the Igbo entrepreneurial mindset. When you push an Igbo man down, you are not burying him, you are planting him. Give him a little time, a little silence, and it will bloom again, somewhere else even bigger. That's what Paul did. He did not let the demolition define him. He let it redirect him. From Lagos loss to Enugu rebirth to Port Harcourt expansion to a continental vision, this is the stuff legends are made of. Let's be real, Paul's comeback is not just a personal victory, it's a lesson for Nigeria, a reminder that investors need protection, visionaries deserve support, tourism can be an economic engine, regional development matters. His Port Harcourt project alone will shift the entire tourism economy of the South-South, and his investment in the Southeast will create a new wave of opportunities. This is how nations grow, this is how industries develop, and this is how Africa rises, through people with unshakable dreams. If you take nothing else away from this story, take this: don't fear loss, fear staying defeated. So next time you walk into a landmark facility, whether in Enugu, Port Harcourt, Abuja, or anywhere else, remember this: you are stepping into a dream that refused to die, a dream that survived bulldozers, a dream that survived politics, a dream that survived loss, a dream built by a man who chose resilience over bitterness, expansion over revenge, and vision over victimhood. This is not the end of Paul Onwuanibe's story. This is just the rebirth. And if you think that what he built in Lagos was impressive, wait until you see what he's building next.
A DBNC business talk show where bold ideas meet bottom lines.
We've had many challenges as a business, and look, Landmark is a 28-year-old business, so you can imagine we've had incredible challenges, many that people don't know. This is the most publicly played out one in recent times, right? So yes, it was painful. We went through, I think they call it the 5 stages of grief. We were the fastest growing business, leisure and lifestyle destination in West Africa, but most importantly, we're the most visited place in West Africa. Without passion, you will never start, but without consistency, you will never finish. Resilience is that journey from start to finish. And just saying to yourself, you're going to finish, and you're going to overcome all of it.